Welcome to Take It from the Ironwoman. My name is Susanne Müller, your host and the Ironwoman. This podcast is about empowering yourself and others to make real changes in the world. You will hear from everyday, smart, sophisticated, hip people like you and me. Not everybody has to be an Ironwoman to impress the world. Together, we will learn from the sports and business leaders how you can become a more successful person as an entrepreneur or a leader. It's one step at a time, one day at a time. Take your steps now. Take your big steps now. Join me on this journey to success. Take it from the Ironwoman. We only have really special guests, and today we go to Laurie. Laurie and I go back many moons. We have been running many circles of Central Park. We met running. I think the first time I met Laurie in real clothes, I was like, is this you? You look so beautiful. Not that she doesn't look beautiful in running clothes, but when you see a person for the first time in real clothes, you really have to look quite, who are you? So Laurie, welcome and introduce yourself. Who's Laurie? Who's joining us today?
My name is Laurie. I am a senior citizen of a certain age. I started running because I needed something to do. I had turned 50. I stopped smoking and I lost my husband. I kind of needed something so that I didn't go crazy or kill myself in another way, just by inertia. I read a newspaper where they were having, if you remember, the Revlon Run Walk in the May. And I'd run casually on and off, but I'd never really taken it seriously. So I said, I'm going to try this. And I had no training, no practice, no nothing. I went and it was 3 miles. And when I finished it, it felt so satisfying that the light bulb went off and I decided that I needed a social outlet. I joined the New York Roadrunners. And I also joined the running classes on Tuesday and Thursday night with the Glovers. And I think that's where I first met you because you were one of the trainers.
Yes.
And I was introduced to a group of women who were the same age as me. They had formed a group called the Mercury Masters, all women over 50. And it was like, this is great. It became a social outlet, which is very important as you get older. You need people around you. Anyway, we started running together and I set some goals to do a 5K, a 10K. I remember doing my first 10K, which was on Roosevelt Island. If you remember, they used to have races on Roosevelt Island. In 2000, I decided I'm going to run a marathon. I'll probably kill myself doing it, but I'm going to do it because it's a goal. Mm-hmm. And I finished my first marathon and I was so proud of myself and everybody else. And it was like a team effort. We all ran together. And after that, we started running marathons overseas, around the country. And over the years, I met up with this group, a wonderful group of runners called the Pizza Runners, which you are involved with, which was co-ed. And we traveled together and we just had so much fun together that it's become my way of life. It's overtaken my way of life. And it's really, at the end of the day, it's the best thing that ever happened in terms of social experience, meeting people, getting out there, networking. Because runners are, you just say, how far did you run today? And you just go, everybody starts talking that they had the same injury. It's just hilarious. So that's where I am in a nutshell.
You mentioned so many things. It's about being healthy, right? You stopped smoking, having something to do and having something meaningful to do. And what I also think is important, yes, we're a group. We meet every Tuesday, every Saturday, all the races. It's an accountability. You show up. I know Laurie always shows up and you're always there. I remember when I first started to run, I would tell my friends, oh, Tuesday night I'm running. And they said, let's go for dinner. You can run another night. And I'm like, And then I changed my story and I say, I'm working on Tuesday night. So then it became my working night. Then it shifted. I could run and people understood she's working. And for you, it's finding that social group. I mean, you're just a fantastic group. Tell us more about the Mercury Masters.
We started out as 25 women, runners, walkers, it doesn't matter. It's being social, it's being friends, healthy, and involved. And it's just a matter today, I think we're up to about 85 women. And we've sort of aged. As you get slower, it doesn't really matter. It's where you start. We all start in the same place. We all finish in the same place. When and how you get there, it really doesn't matter because none of us are going to win any money. It's just the sense of satisfaction of knowing that you started, finished, and you completed. Mm-hmm. And the other thing that's really important to me is that I get a lot of people who know of me or know me who'll say, oh, I could never do that. You know, I have bad knees. I have this, I have that. And it's like, no, you don't understand. It's you against yourself. Mm-hmm. It's and the clock. It doesn't matter. It's just setting your mind to it, setting a goal, and working towards it. It's nothing more than that.
And it's one step at a time. Put on your running shoes, put on your running jacket or whatever the weather is. And we always say in our group, whether or not, weather is never a factor. I mean, I've ran through any kind of like weather. And
the point is that you're never too old. You don't need equipment. All you need is a pair of sneakers. You don't need a partner. See, that was my issue, is having been married, I didn't have any more a partner. I needed to find things that I could do myself for myself. Mm. And that's kind of the way I look at it. And I have to tell you, as a side to this, I started spinning. A spinning studio opened in the next town from me. And I go 3 times a week. And I'm always the oldest one. There are all these young, buff, 20-year-old women. And it's like, I'm old enough to be their grandmother. But I'm right in there in the mix. And at the end, they all say, I couldn't keep up with you. It's kind of a way, an inspirement. Yeah. Is that a word? Inspiring for people to keep doing it or encourage other people to do it. As I always say, if I can do it, you can do it.
And please keep doing it. I know the spinning is a lot of fun, but I don't know. The running to me is something even more different because obviously we've been training for many marathon races. You run 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours together. The spinning is like in and out. I went to a few spinning classes and I never bonded as much as with the running.
Well, I use it just to keep myself so that I don't run every day. As I've gotten older, I've had a little bit of issue with my knee, with sciatica, typical runner stuff. Mm-hmm. But I find that by cross training, I put pressure on different parts of my body so that I'm not always depending on the exact same spots. That's what's important. I mean, I know that people use yoga or Pilates. This happens to be what I found works for me. Yeah. And I think that the other thing about it is I don't run every day. I run 3 days a week and I spin 3 days a week. And that's enough exercise to keep me healthy.
How many marathon races have you done, just for the listeners to inspire them even more?
I've done 45. Mm. When I first started running marathons, I would do anywhere from 1 to 4 a year. Now I only do 1 a year because it's becoming harder and harder to do it. And last year, because the marathons were either canceled or or were virtual. I had an issue with my knee and I needed surgery on my knee, orthoscopic surgery. So before I had it, I actually walked the marathon, the New York City Marathon. Do not ask me how long it took me, but I walked 27 miles.
27? It's an extra mile that you did.
Yeah.
Oh, so whoever is listening, Laurie is the person. We have our mutual friend, Susan Zeiderman. She's always, let's go to the line. You have to be exact, but you're even more exact. 27 miles. Marathon is only 26.2 miles. I've
gone to London and seen all of London.
Mm-hmm.
And at the marathon, I've been to Edinburgh. I've been to Scotland, Scotland. I've been to Stockholm, Berlin, Prague, Rome, Barcelona, plus Canada. I mean, it's a great way to see a city on foot. Yeah. Because that's the best way to get a feel for it, where things are. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever come to a strange city and you have no idea where you are or how to get to where you want to go. The best way to do it is go for a run.
Yeah, I've been in places, and I just remember one story. I was at a conference in Warsaw, Poland, and I think there was like half an hour between the conference and the dinner. I have to go and run. I have to go. And I went and I saw graffiti. I saw musicians. I ran over a bridge and I found new stuff that I would not have seen if I was just staying at the conference the whole day. No, it's the running, and it bonds people together around the world. You get to know other people. You can run with other people or walk with other people. That's super important. Yeah.
Runners are also very encouraging for other runners. It's like if you start feeling really draggy, one of the runners will come by and say, come on, you can do it. But I'll tell you a funny story. When I was running the Edinburgh Marathon, I tripped and fell, and it was out in the countryside. I had no idea where I was, but I really hurt myself. And I stopped and I was on the ground, and some runner came along and picked me up. And I didn't know where I was. I had started walking and I started feeling better and I could breathe better. And when I finished the race, this man came up to me and said, how did you finish in front of me? And I said, well, I fell, I got up, I finished the race. He goes, I know, I picked you up and you still finished before me. It's those kind of experiences that are they're priceless.
I think that's the only word we can say, priceless. Which is your favorite marathon?
There is a marathon. Well, I've done it twice, actually. There is a marathon in the south of France, in Medoc, which is outside of Bordeaux, which is the red wine capital.
Mm-hmm.
All the Bordeaux wines come from there. And it's the craziest race in the world. You can do either a marathon or a half marathon. It's through the vineyards and the chateaus. And in addition to water stops, they have wine stops. And they have entertainment. They have Elvis impersonators, opera singers, country western singers, all kinds of crazy stuff going on. And by the way, it's a costume race.
Yeah.
So if you wear a costume and finish the race, you get a bottle of wine. We went in costume and there were a group of us. Both times I've done it. And the Europeans, the men are crazy. They are crazy. They were running in thongs and carrying stretchers and all kinds of floats and just crazy. Because it doesn't matter if you run or if you just walk, because everybody's having so much fun, they don't want to finish. And at mile 20, they have an oyster bar.
Nice.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But seriously, the hardest marathon I've ever done was Big Sur in California, because you literally run down the coast of California. And on one side, you're above the water on a cliff, and on the other side is a mountain. And at mile 13, there's a man with a grand piano playing. And I'll never forget a friend of ours who has run marathons around the world twice. Her name is Martha. And Martha was standing there by the grand piano putting lipstick on so someone would take her picture at mile 13.1.
Lipstick is important. You have to look good. It's for the pictures.
And you get to the top of a mountain peak and you see the next mountain peak. It's just mountain after mountain after mountain, but it was a wild race, just a wild race. But I wanted to add one other thing about running. One of the beautiful things about running by yourself is you get inside your own head. I guess it's like what people do when they meditate, because it's all in your head. And you can either solve problems or resolve yourself to make a decision on something. Or if you have work problems, you can solve them, and then you hope you can remember it by the time you get home. But I think it's really important for people to understand it's a great way to empty out your head. And when I say that, I mean frustrations, impatience, aggravation. It just gives you a sense of joy of not having to deal.
Thank you so much. Very cool.
Thank you, Susan.
Always a pleasure to talk to one of my running friends, Laurie, 45 marathons. Her goal is to run 50. Let's see. She can do it. She puts her mind to it. Take it from the Ironwoman. We have episodes every Monday, every Wednesday. Don't miss out. There's something for everybody. If she can do it, you can do it.